Okay, I'd like to call to order, this is the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority Finance Committee meeting. Today's date is Wednesday, July 17th, 2024, and we will call the meeting to order at 4:30. First business item is the May internal 2024 financials. So Patty, I'll turn that over to you.
If you look at the statement of financial position, our accounts receivable regular are 119,000. 96% of that is either current or 1 to 30 days. So we continue that trend of getting our AR in. We are getting in what we bill out. Our fuel inventory will remain the same until next year. We only adjust the fuel inventory at year-end. And our prepaid expenses are all insurance, and they continue to go down. If we get the stabilization funding, I'll talk about that in a moment in time, we will pay all of our insurance upfront this year instead of having to finance it with the payment.
Greatness.
Do they charge us an additional surcharge to finance?
There's a fee to finance, and then there's a late fee if you are even a day past the date. Our construction process is at 8.6. If we look at the construction process, the 4 top projects, I spoke with our accounting supervisor today. We have 2 things outstanding in order to get rid of the wall stuff.
See, that would have been my next question.
Exactly. The closing was submitted actually in May, and there is a small amount due to us for admin fee that will come when the closeout is approved. There was also, if we go back, there was a supplemental closeout. Part of that, the FAA advanced to us. Part of that, the OBPA had to front pay. And we're still waiting to see if we can get 2/3 of that back. And that's why this is not closed.
So is it on our end or their end?
Their end. Everything has been submitted. Steve signed off on the closeout paperwork. So now we're just waiting for FAA and DOT to finish whatever it is they have to do.
Last time we had any correspondence with them.
Our accounting supervisor was in touch with McFarland Johnson still in person, and she said she would follow up again for tomorrow. But we're in touch with her on a regular basis.
They have to be nice, or do you have to be nice to them? Or?
Then yes.
Okay.
But as soon as we get that straightened out, the walls that will come off the construction in progress, and will end up in a fixed asset.
Right.
Our accounts payable regular are at 661. The AEAS contour is 1 month we owe the contour. New York State retirement remains the same. And all project accounts payable is just about $1 million. We have since paid the end of June. We had paid all of it. So there's nothing left. Most of it has come out of other reimbursed project money that we have had and we have kept aside and we have paid these invoices.
Is that the 4? We're not talking about the 496.
No, the 159.
Okay.
And if you look at those items on number 3, the 143,000, the 35,000, 33,000, 26,000, the other 26,000 23,000 will all be covered by the stabilization. So these items will all go away probably the first week, the first week in August.
Why do we have such a large accounts receivable AEAS? Even though we owe them a month, is there 2 months in there?
There's a current AEAS at May 31st. We had not yet received back the reimbursement for the month before, and at that point, Contour owed us $75,000. So it's 2 months of AEAS and Contour.
So is that April and May or?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
The current would be 406. The older one was 370. Any questions on the balance sheet?
Seems to be every other month we can't get a copy of that.
If we can't pay, if we can't submit to DOT before the 10th of the month, which we often cannot do, it takes almost 4 weeks to get the money back from DOT. So if we miss that small window, we end up carrying the second month in our financials.
Does the information you need for that come from Charlie through Contour? Is that how that works?
It's Contour's invoice.
That comes as Charlie or you?
Both of us get the invoice. Charlie sends me an email saying, I approve this invoice.
Okay,
And so if we have the money, it can be paid immediately, but we're usually waiting.
waiting. All right, got it.
If nothing, we'll go on to the budget to actual. So far, we're doing pretty well with our bridge revenue is up over the budgeted 80%, or approximately 84%. Our airport revenue has been healthy. Part of that is due to the fact that our hangar rentals are full. The straight airport revenue includes the hangar revenue, the PFC income, the interest income, which is not a great amount, and our parking revenue, our terminal charges and apron charges, and storage rental. So it's all the little things that are not broken out as fuel sales or AEAS income. AEAS income was down. We had budgeted 476 for the month of May. We only had 406. And that carried forward. We were almost spot on for April. Our industrial park campus is to the good now that we've changed the formula. Our port revenue has been good, and the interest income on the port, and our railroad revenue is all easements that you've approved in the last few months.
So why is the fuel sales revenue so much more than we anticipated?
It's rather a game one place. Last year, we over budgeted, so we under budgeted this year in the hopes of getting closer. And happily, we are. We seem to have an awful lot more FBO traffic this year than we had last year, which would have been just around the time Charlie came, but there seems to be a lot more on the general aviation side.
Would that have anything to do with the change we made in which you buy fuel and the discount and everything?
It does. It does. Seems like I spoke to you before. seems like the system, every pilot's trying to get the little, don't want to pay the handling fee, so everybody's trying to squeeze in fuel so they don't have to pay that. So that's been helping somewhat, and with a lot of, with some of them, they will buy, some knowing that we have a handling fee, they won't even buy fuel at what they're coming from. Knowing that if they come here, they have to pay a handling fee, they will just buy fuel here. They will make their fuel cheaper, really, if they calculate it in their own way. So
Good.
And so far, pretty much all of our expenses are under budget so far this year. We're only 2 months in, so we haven't had big winters or anything like that yet. Our summer help came on board May 28th. So in June and July, you'll start to see payroll going up again. For the seasonal, we have 2 groundskeepers and we have 2 bridge crews. Are there any questions on the budget to actual? We have heard from DOT. I wanted to give you an update. As of today, we will have our stabilization funding in 7 to 10 business days. And that covers all of our, well, the majority of our operational expenses.
That's all 3.1 million.
The entire, when we settled with DOB, we had come up with $3,016,000. When DOT asked for the formal request for the funding, I did explain the discrepancy, and they said, no, the appropriation was for 3.1. So please write your formal request for the appropriation at 3.1.
I agree with DOT. 3.1.
So that we should see, and they are going to electronically transfer in one shot.
Good.
And I have worked with DOB, because DOT, once they give us the money, they're out of the picture. And I've worked with DOB to come up with a year-end audit schedule, so that every time we take monies out of the 3.1, we can account for it on the schedule, and then they can audit it
Right.
sometime next year.
Good. Because we always do what we say we'll do.
I've even sent them the template, and they like it, so.
Good.
I'll be doing it every time we pay a bill, we just push it in, and our accounts payable clerk is making a copy of every invoice, so that if they ever come back and say, could you explain this invoice, we've got the entire file with every invoice.
This is Patty's system from PPP and all of the
CARES
others.
Act.
Right.
So it was very detailed because we had to meet all of those requirements, but
Yep.
Patty already has something in place, so that kind of, I think that really helped with DOB.
It's good to anticipate all that.
And Erin's being very good. I gave her a small check one day, and she says, which ones shouldn't I copy? And she's all ready to go ahead, going forward, making sure we have all the copies in a file folder for DOB.
Good. Very good.
Any other questions on the financials? Okay.
Right.
Okay, so next, do you have anything else?
I was just going to say during the board meeting, we will have the auditors reviewing, yes, and they will review that first 2-page summary. If anybody has questions on the full audit, they will, of course, have to answer them.
Is there anything that you would like to share with us on the process or anything else from the audit?
The audit went quite smoothly. They were happy with us. We're always happy with them. Sometimes they come back and say, I need, but they're a good outfit. So and they're going to help us on the unwinding of the workstation.
Good.
Anything for other such matters? Finance committee?
Not, I move we adjourn, Madam Chair.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll call the meeting adjourned at 4:45. Thank you.